Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to INE's CCIE Security version 5 Advanced Technologies class, the online version. My name is Cristian Matei. I am a double CCIE. I have a CCIE in routing and switching and security, and I will be teaching this class. If you want to get in contact with me for whatever reason, if you have any questions after class, or you have any propositions for the class content, you can always reach me on that email address, cmatei@ine.com, or you can get in contact with me via Twitter, LinkedIn. Primarily use the email address for any kind of technical stuff. I'm not really a very active Twitter or LinkedIn person. So let's get started. Today's scope is going to be understanding what is the Advanced Technologies class, the introduction to CCIE Security version 5, and we're going to get going into pretty much the change that Cisco has added from version 4 to version 5 and how to prepare for those. Now, primarily today, we're going to be focusing on what is the Advanced Technologies class. Of course, it's going to be, especially for those of you who are new to INE in general. So we're going to discuss what will be covered in this class, how will it be covered, so you have a base understanding from the beginning of what to expect out of the class, and also what is the schedule of the class. We're going to then go into pretty much what are the changes from version 4 to version 5, what has been added, what has been removed. We're going to see that pretty much version 5, it is a huge leap forward, a good move forward, with pretty much a lot of changes, both technical and non-technical. So we're going to pretty much speak about on the topology side, we're going to see what is the new hardware and software specs. So in case you want to build your own lab around, or of course, you still need to know what are the software versions and of course devices used in order to prepare successfully. We're going to also speak about how could you build your own topology in case you want to practice on your own, the technologies. And of course, then we're going to go to how to actually prepare for the CCIE exam. We're going to speak about general preparation strategy, recommended books, and a couple of other resources which should be your primary tools in your preparation, alongside with, of course, videos and labs. Now, for the prerequisites, it's going to be primarily very simple. Ideally, and of course, actually importantly, you need working knowledge of routing and switching. So we're not going to get to the details of how routing and switching works. Like, for example, when we're going to speak about routing protocol authentication, I'm going to assume actually know what RIP is, what OSPF is, what EIGRP is, what BGP is, and fundamentally how they work in there. Because otherwise, it has to be very simple understandable that you're not going to be able to understand how to secure something if you don't understand how it works. So for the security technology, the specific security technologies, we're going to speak, of course, on how things work and then how can you secure them. But then for like running and switching, you need to know that before joining the class. So on the security side, you just need basic knowledge of the technologies, because the scope of this class is to get you from, let's say, from null zero to the expert level skill set. But of course, we are in charge to delivering the technologies. Let's say you are in charge into making sure you invest a lot of time to make that happen. Next is willing to learn. This is very important. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to do what it takes to get there. It is a long journey, which of course you have to enjoy. Otherwise, you're not gonna pretty much make it through. And least but not least, you have to be an enthusiastic engineer. We're here to learn, and of course, the moment you enjoy technology and the moment you deep dive into it and at the moment it makes sense, you're going to see how easy it is to move forward, even though it is a long journey, but it's easy to move forward and become an expert and then clearly pass the exam as a result of that. So my message to you out there is don't chase the certification, but you must chase knowledge and then everything follows up. So what will we cover in the class? Pretty much nothing else but the technologies as per the blueprint. Now, how will it be covered? We're going to use slides, of course, for gaining a base understanding of how things work. We're going to try to minimize that around. We're going to primarily focus then on whiteboarding and drawing to grasp a better understanding how things work live on the diagrams. And then moving forward, we're going to do live hands-on examples to enforce the knowledge back and forth on whatever we spoke about. Now, examples are not prescripted, which means troubleshooting will be built in either on purpose or because, let's say, it happens, as you're going to see, that at some point when you have a long day and you add and remove a lot of things, a lot of technologies, at some point it just breaks without reason. So either we're going to have troubleshooting because we have to do things like remove, reapply configurations, or we're going to have built-in troubleshooting because things will not work and we have to understand what is the problem with that. Now, what expectations should have as being part of this class is pretty much gaining a solid understanding how technologies work. So this class is not going to make you pass the exam. This class is going to make you understand how things work, and then once you understand how things work, it's just a matter of applying a good strategy to pass the exam as a result of that. What is the class schedule? Well, class schedule has been published for June, so look in the calendar in your All Access Pass membership. We'll have visibility minimum 1 month ahead. So what this means is, like, I expect sometime in June we're going to publish the schedule for July, sometime in July the schedule for August, and so on. And on a daily basis, class will typically start at 8-9 p.m. PDT, but always check the calendar to have the latest update on that. So it's going to be 8-9 p.m. PDT, which is going to be 6-7 a.m. GMT +2 Romania, Bucharest, which is my time. We're going to run typically for around 6-8 hours a day, depending, of course, on how class runs, how many things we get into, how many questions we have on a daily basis. Today it's going to be an easier, a smaller class because we just speak about the changes, what has been changed from version 4 to version 5, and how to prepare, and then how will the class run. Now, the class format, for those of you who have been pretty much familiarized with our ATC's class so far, it has a bit changed. We're going to follow up moving forward a new format for this. So each Advanced Technologies class is going to be structured, pretty much divided into main sub-courses. Like, for example, you're going to see no longer a big outline. It's going to be divided into, for example, a subclass of iOS firewall. We're going to speak in there about pretty much everything which is iOS, let's say, specific, like access lists, like zone-based policy firewall, control plane security, management plane security, pretty much everything which has to do with iOS firewall. We're going to have another course named the ASA firewall. This is not going to contain the firepower part. It's going to be just the classic ASA firewall with its specific technology supported. And there's going to be one course for firepower, like the next generation IPS, to call it that way, what's in the lab exam, and then one course for firepower threat defense, Cisco's unified image for the ASA code and the firepower code. We're going to have one class for advanced malware protection, one class for ISAC AMP or IPv1 IPsec VPNs, IPv2 IPsec VPNs, remote access VPNs. So pretty much as we're going to go to the blueprint, we're going to pretty much speak in more detail about this. But the main idea is that you're not going to have a very long list of topics in the ATC. It is going to be subdivided into main sub-courses. Expect this class to be, let's say, long. Probably is going to be one of the biggest ATCs in length that we have ever released. This is, of course, due to the amount of content that we need to cover based on the exam changes. And of course, least but not last, remember what I stated, that knowledge is power. Build that. Follow, chase knowledge, and everything is gonna follow up with you in the end.